Hey, bro, look, man. Everybody's been talking about this Ray Rice thing, man. The domestic violence. Man, what's your take on it? What you think, man?
I think it's a real issue. It's happening more than what we think it is. But him being a football player, he's conduct himself more seriously than others because he's watched more and he's a leader to a lot of people. But seeing the videos, you don't know what led up to the fight itself or the punch itself. So it's something that's been going on for a period of time between them both. So whatever it is between them, and he reacted like that. No, it shouldn't happen, but it happens more. You know, me and my wife got into it, and you know, things happen. Don't nobody know the whole story, but things happen. With him punching her like that, yes, it's wrong. But for them to get married after this, they must have had some kind of reconciliation, or you know, something that those two know that it can be more than just a punch or a hit. But we all know that it happens more than what it shouldn't happen. And I think when they apologize to each other, that should be that, you know. But he being a star, he got a lot of followers behind him, you know. He asked for forgiveness, it should be given to him. I don't know about the penalties and all that, but they're married, and like he said about his daughter or son, that's the most thing he's concerned about. I don't think it's really about the starness of it or whatever I want to call it, but I know he's hurting, she's hurting, but they both forgiving each other and they're moving on with the life. So
everybody make a mistake, ain't nobody perfect, but nobody know what really transpired in the casino for him to even do that. It had to be something like I can't just see him just beating her up for nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he was wrong because he's too big to be hitting a woman anyway. But at the end of the day, nobody know the real story but them. And the media always gonna make you look bad when you upper echelon. You know what I'm saying? That's my take on it.
I think it was a slap in the face to a certain degree because it's been going on for years. And until the media blew it up, they downplayed the whole situation. The NFL knew when it first took place, they all had seen the videotape, even though they act like they didn't. She didn't seem to care as much as she wanted to rock, so I feel like if it's really her decision. And then it's like what happened upstairs before they even got in the elevator is what no one asked that question. Like, I feel like she played a certain of a role, but at the end of the day, putting your hands on a woman should never be respected. But he shouldn't be banned for a lifetime. Taking a year off and letting them back next year should be efficient enough.
I think that domestic violence as a whole has just been downplayed in America to the point in which it doesn't even really affect us. It didn't even affect us until the NFL came and put a punishment towards it. When the NFL gave you a 2-day suspension, that's when it became an issue. Oh, well, that's not enough, and so they gave him more. I think that's what it really comes into. People go to jail for domestic violence every single day. And so I can't personally care for this young lady more than she cares for herself. She came on and supported him in this. And so who am I to say I am not supporting him when she was the one who's physically in the altercation and she was the one who is supporting him more than any of the rest of us are. So my main concern is more so as to how it's received in the world, how it's received in the United States, and how we've allowed double jeopardy to play a factor in the fact that we punish him once and then we feel as a whole, as a United States, that it wasn't enough, and so we're going to punish him again. And how many people are in a domestic violence situation where they are forced into retirement? This man was forced into retirement for a situation that happened to him. He can no longer work in his career, and that's huge. And so that's more so my concern, more than the actual act of her being assaulted or him being assaulted or what have you. That's every single day.
I personally, I know you don't supposed to ride the fence, but I'm kind of riding the fence on this one. I feel like we as a society actually ignores something as domestic violence in common every day, and have used this incident to actually basically throw it out of the realm. I hate the fact that I know that these people reconciled and they're married now, and the bumps and bruises of, I'm not going to say I support domestic violence, but the bumps and bruises of any relationship, if you can reconcile, you have something. So what are we putting out there that, okay, this happened before people even saw it, they had suspended him and it was okay. It wasn't until the social media outlets put it out there that this was done, put the videos out there that this was done, till it became a bigger issue. Not saying it was not an issue, but it became a bigger issue. And so I'm kind of riding the fence on this one because they reconciled, and I can't really approve of them reconciling. And now he's broke, and now he has to face a whole nother situation in his family, in his household. And, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of on the fence with this one.
Urban J Productions provides all of your videography needs for any occasion or project. We specialize in TV shows, weddings, commercials, documentaries, behind-the-scenes footage, music videos, interviews, corporate events, photo shoots, baby showers, sweet 16s, birthday parties, fashion shows, family reunions, and highlight reels. You name it, we can do it. Contact us today, 1-267-218-2181. We're available nationwide. We look forward to capturing your most cherished memories. Urban J Productions.
Thank you so much for tuning in with Garry Callis with Around Town. I guess you've already seen the video. You've already heard what everyone is saying around town. So let me introduce you to my guests. I have Gilbert, Dwayne, and Keisha. Man, this Ray Rice thing is getting crazy, y'all. So y'all saw the video. Y'all already want to say it around town. So get what you think, man. What's going on, bro?
I have a lot of different perspectives about it. Since I've been in a lot of domestic violence myself with my wife, but we're still together 12 years later. So, you know, them reconciling with each other, only God knows the beginning and what the end will be, you know. But for them to get married after that show shows that they're still willing to do what they got to do for them. The media does blow things out of proportion, but domestic violence is going on every day, and I think it's up to them personally if they're going to keep pushing on and getting through this ordeal. But it's a lot being lost for everyone, family members, most for themselves and the kids. So it's real tricky. You know, it's wrong. But like I said, we don't know what happened before that issue happened, and the media blows it up, and it's a lot of money and a lot of controversy because we really don't know. But they reconcile, so like I said, God only knows what happened before that and prior to that and after that. So that's what
What's going on, D1? What's up, bro? What you think, man? I mean, the footage was undeniable. I mean, we basically saw what happened, and I think I'm hearing a whole lot of folks too around town basically are saying that that has been blown out of proportion. The media's coming in playing judge, jury, executioner. You know, some people are saying that Roger Goodell should have played a bigger role actually in protecting his player from the media. You know, as being the commissioner. You know, when he saw the video at first, we all assumed, when we first saw it, that he knocked her out. When the second video came, we actually saw him knock her out. So the first one came, a two-game suspension. Then the media jumps all in it, and now the man is put out the lead. You know? I mean, so what do you think, man? I mean, are they overstepping themselves? This is man's business between him and his wife. I mean, what do you think, man?
Honestly, I feel like with him being an NFL player, that puts him in a whole different bracket regardless. So with him being in a whole different bracket, then yes, there are different rules because they have to follow different rules. they have a different pay grade. But when it comes down to the actual personal life of the player, I agree with you. I feel like it's like a fraternity. And them being in the NFL and having issues outside of it, or the military, let me say military. It's like the military police versus the regular police. If it's an incident on a military base by a military man, it's handled by the military. They don't allow the outsiders to come in and regulate over their people. I feel like the NFL should have put him in a situation where, no, we don't accept this, but where do we go from here as a unit, as your structured employer? You know,
Right.
How can we help you help us help you? And I feel like they kind of pushed them out to social media. They banned him before they even actually gave him the suspension, you know, by allowing the leak, how you leak. If that came to the NFL, how did it get leaked to social media outside there?
Right.
So I feel like it should have been something a little bit structured. I think they lack structure.
Keisha, we're hearing from these guys. I mean, the guy just basically just swung, knocked Shorty out. She goes down, then drags out the elevator, kick her feet, step over her body, like, you know. I mean, again, Brother Gibbon, as you were saying, and Brother D. Wayne, as you were saying, again, we don't know. We weren't there from the very beginning. We didn't see it. Something going on between him and his wife, and now, right? Now, right? I mean, what do you think? I mean, you're a woman. This man has knocked her out. I mean, what's your take on the way the commissioner's handling it, the way the NFL's handling it, and more important, the way the media is playing back inside this thing? I mean, what do you think?
Well, it's certainly hard to watch. It is a video that's very difficult to watch because you want to create your own feelings associated with what your eyes are seeing. But you're not listening to the young lady that this actually happened to. Has nothing negative to say. She has nothing negative to say, which makes me think, what exactly happened? What were they arguing about? What were they fighting about? Is this normal for their relationship? There are a lot of unhealthy relationships out here. And so for me to just make my own opinion without enough information is unfair to the both of them. And for the NFL basically to make their decision based off of how the media would receive them for allowing him to continue working for them is difficult for me to swallow. That's really where, for me, things go astray.
It's like a double jeopardy.
Exactly. It is double jeopardy all day. In the court system, had he been tried and given a 2-year sentence, there is no way in the U.S. government that he could have gone back and said, okay, now we're going to give you life. We don't think, the media didn't think that we gave you enough time, so we're going to go ahead and erase the 2-year suspension and now make it into a life suspension. No, you can't do that to someone.
Right. So basically, again, we're all saying the same thing, that Roger Goodell, the commissioner, should have played a bigger role in protecting his player from the media rather than playing into the whims of the media. Again, as you were saying, create an issue more like double jeopardy. You know, again, when we saw the initial video, we didn't see him hit her, but we saw them walk in, and we saw her being pulled out. So we all assumed that he knocked her out.
But I personally would have had been able to accept everything that has been visually laid out to me. I would have been able to accept more of it, knowing that when they gave him a 2-day suspension, she came out to the public and said, I don't think so. This is not enough. Did you see the video? Did you see what happened to me? You need to give this man more time than this. You need to do more for me than this. She was the total opposite. She was angry that you put his job, basically forced him into retirement, but initially had put his job in jeopardy. she didn't want to associate his lifestyle and his his career in the same group. You look at several other celebrities, several other NFL players who have had the same issue, and they have not paid this price.
Right.
Like they use him for example, and I guess that's why it doesn't sit well with me. Because when you look at a case by case of especially NFL players, you have abundant, and I can't quote the names, but it was over 5 players I watched on the television that have been put in a domestic dispute situation in the NFL in New Orleans.
Man, see, that's what we're going to talk about in a few minutes. We're going to take a break right here. And I'll tell you what, this thing about domestic violence, this whole thing about Ray Rice, a lot of folks are talking about it. Y'all just hold on, we're right back.
Child Care and Learning Center at 1506 Hull Street is enrolling children 4 weeks to 12 years old. The safe and nurturing environment sets the stage for your lifetime learner. Call us at 233-4116, schedule a tour, and meet your teacher. Text As We Grow to 72727 to pre-enroll and for your chance to win a free week of childcare. As We Grow Child Care and Learning Center, where we coined the phrase kindergarten ready.
Welcome back. I tell you what, while we were off the camera, I'll tell you what, man, this conversation is really, really serious. Before we went to break, we were talking about how the NFL players, again, are being, in a lot of other cases, didn't receive the punishment that Ray Rice got. Right. But, I mean, let's switch this thing up a little bit. I mean, is there situations where men have a right to put their hands on a woman? Or, I mean, nobody has a right to put their hands on nobody. You know, as far as I'm concerned, everybody keep their hands to themselves. Right? To think that one person is responsible for maintaining the peace, to me, is preposterous. Really? No, really? If I'm saying something to you that I'm seeing that it's inciting you, I see that it's getting you angry, I have just as much responsibility to back off that conversation. Hey, I see that I'm getting you upset. So let's talk about this later. And by the same token, you have just as much responsibility to walk away. Right? So the thing is, to try to put it off on one person, I think is kind of crazy. And I think, too, for us to have been after women's rights, you know, women have fought to be equal for a long time. I think it's time to start re-educating people a little bit. You know, I honestly believe that there is no reason a gentleman should ever put his hands on a lady. Understanding that I'm making a quantitative difference between a lady and a woman. Because a gentleman would never put his hands on a lady, and a lady would never put herself in that situation. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that I got sons and daughters. My daughter walked up to my son, busted right in the chest. I can't in good conscience tell my son, hey, don't hit her back. Because I'm setting him up to think that later on in life, some other woman can come by, beat up on you, and you can't protect yourself. And that's not very realistic. Because you have the right to protect yourself against all aggressors. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think? I mean, am I off base here? What do y'all think?
No, you're not off base. I can say from experience in my relationship, my marriage, domestic violence, you know. And she hit me first, but when the police come, they'll lock the guy up, you know. And I've been through that, so I know. And myself can walk away, but if a woman keep on coming, and then may not be just coming with her hand, but might come with a knife, you do have the point to defend yourself. Because a real man or whatever it is, don't want to hurt no woman. But everybody's different, and it comes from where you were brought up at, maybe your mother and father fighting, friends and family fighting, and, you know, and not looked at as being wrong. You know, there's some aggressive women out here in this world, and you do have to protect your own self, you know.
What do you think, Keisha?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that assault is not, even though women have fought for equality for such a long time, in assault we are not equal. I could easily fight all of you, knock everybody out here, and people would think it was funny. You know, the chances of me being locked up for it are minimal. And as soon as one of you put your hands on me, it's an issue. And so that has to be weighed. You know, also you have to weigh the fact that, like you said, she's tolerating it. When you look at the video, she has the option to walk away. She is aggressing him of course, he is stronger. He may be more aggressive, but she swung at him. She's pushing him away. You can't hear what they're actually saying. You don't know if she's being verbally abusive. I have a personal friend who is very physically and emotionally abusive she's a female and abusing a man, and she's never been locked up. He has called the police, and it is almost like a joke. And so in that aspect, things have to be looked at equally.
Right.
You know, has she knocked him out? Would she have lost her job? Absolutely not. Would he have lost his? No.
Probably
This wouldn't even be
He's not a
new.
football player, but he gonna lose his job.
They probably would have made him lose his job, the laughing stock of the NFL. You let a girl whoop your tail.
Exactly.
But my thing again, I'm gonna back it up again. I don't condone anybody putting their hands on anybody. Everybody keep their hands to themselves. Men, keep your hands to yourself. Ladies, keep your hands to yourself. Old ladies, keep your hands to yourself. Little kids, keep your hands to yourself. But the reality side of it is, again, to think that just because it's a woman, that she is going to get beat up. When you get a job at UPS, they're going to ask a woman or a man, can you lift 50 to 70 pounds above your head? So to think that you're a man, you're going to walk up and just beat her because you're a man, you might walk up on a snag.
Right.
So for women to be playing that we're so weak card at this point, I don't know, I don't get it. Are women in the military, they're carrying guns just like the men are carrying guns.
And I look at it from my perspective. I'm half here right now. When I get down, I'm 5'5". You know, so it's, to me, I don't know if you want to call it the Napoleon complex but I feel for my life, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, I look at height and stature when you offend me. So this is a situation where I have to look at it. Yes, you're a woman, but if you can put yourself in a position where you question what I am as far as what I'm supposed to be as a man, and cross that line, it's an issue. It's an issue.
But you know, I've had some women as I've gone around town, I've had women actually say to me that if I can push him around, if I can smack him, dog him, or whatever, and he can't protect himself against me, how am I going to feel safe with him when I'm out in the street? Now, I mean, what do y'all think about? Is that real?
But it's very real. But they still be with that man. I don't know if it's because of financial issues, sex issues, but they still be with him.
Yeah, but this young lady is still with this man. He has lost his career and every chance he has to make money from it. And she still married him. They weren't married when this happened. And so between the time that this actually happened and the time they actually wed, there had to be some sort of uncomfortableness that had to be addressed. And
especially
so,
going into a marriage.
Exactly. I mean,
because
I wasn't
they didn't have to pursue that marriage thereafter.
But you know, here's the funny thing. I've heard a whole lot of people say, well, after he knocked her out, why would she marry him? Why would she marry a man that would knock her out? I'm sitting back thinking to myself, maybe I'm crazy. This man just lost millions of dollars. If any woman that would incite me to anger to where I lose millions of dollars, I would never ever want to see you again. You know, so I think that public opinion, again, the media playing judge, juror, executioner. Roger Goodell should have played a bigger role in protecting his plane. You know? Hey, media, I hear what you all are saying. I feel what you all are saying. But based on what we're seeing right here, we're going to stand behind our player. If the police arrest him, if he go to jail.
And that never happened.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That never happened. He never went to jail.
And like she said, double jeopardy.
Yeah.
They already.
In the real world, if I don't go to jail, you shouldn't be able to say nothing to me. I don't want to hear your mama say nothing to me. I don't want to hear your daddy say nothing to me. Because to me, in the real world, if the judge didn't persecute me for what? Action.
Immediate.
Nobody should say nothing to me.
Right, and then you have an imperfect media with a whole bunch of folks out there coming from a whole bunch of divergent backgrounds, whatever, playing in on what you should be deciding. When realistically, you should be deciding this thing the way you felt about it, Roger Goodell. I'm just telling you, you know. Again, I don't condone this man knocking his wife out. I don't condone it at all. I don't condone anybody putting their hands on anybody. As human beings, to get to a point to where the only way we can solve any issue that we have to be violence is wrong.
Right.
We can sit there and we'll talk. You know, we're not barbarians. We can sit there, we can talk this thing out. It doesn't have to go to being physical. But if you get to I must talk about something else too. As men know, the only way most men know how to protect themselves is being physical. So if somebody attacks you verbally, if somebody attacks you physically, if somebody attacks you financially, in most cases, the only way we know how to protect ourselves is to hit them physically. Right? I mean, what do y'all think?
I think the only reason, honestly, the only reason why this is even conversation is because this is caught on film. There are several other players who actually were arrested and tried for murder of a female, for raping females, for domestic violence with females, all which either retired or are still playing in the NFL, all of which continued on with their lives with minimal, minimal punishment associated. This gentleman is paying the price because the hotel he decided to stay in had a video of him.
Wow.
So should they let that video up?
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, the video is already out. That's why we're having this show, because we're talking about it.
Right.
Look, I appreciate you all coming. This is a conversation that we can have forever and ever. Because again, domestic violence is something that's going on, and sooner or later we're going to have a show about domestic abuse. Okay, domestic abuse. Because people say words don't hurt folks. That's not true at all. Hey, look. Thank you for tuning in with Around Town. I hope that this inspired a conversation at home. Please get the Explode magazine, get your comments, and we'll see you at the next show. Again, thank you for tuning in.